The Kerch Bridge, that massive arch of concrete and steel connecting Crimea to the Russian mainland, has long been more than just a supply route. For the Kremlin, it has been a crown jewel, a physical reminder of conquest, a defiant symbol meant to declare, Crimea is ours, and we can hold it forever. But symbols are only powerful as long as they stand unchallenged. Today, that same bridge is no longer simply a roadway, it has become a target. What once appeared untouchable is now exposed. The lines Moscow believed impenetrable are being breached one after another. And these breaches are no accident, no isolated strikes. They are the result of a systematic, calculated campaign of precision. Radars, air defense batteries, fuel depots, command centers, bridges. All are under relentless pressure, not from random attacks, but from a doctrine of attrition designed to grind Russia's grip on Crimea into dust. The central weapon in this transformation is not just a missile. It is an entirely new strategy wrapped inside steel and explosives. Its name, Flamingo. This missile, conceived and developed in Ukraine, represents a leap in both technology and doctrine. Land-based, with a staggering range of 3,000 kilometers, a warhead tipping the scales at more than a metric ton, and mobile launcher systems that make it as elusive as it is destructive. Flamingo is more than a weapon. It is the embodiment of a new era, an era where every Russian target in Crimea is no longer theoretically at risk, but practically vulnerable. The first spark of this new reality erupted on August 30th. Dawn broke with violence. Explosions shattered the stillness of the morning, sending shockwaves rippling across border towns and military outposts. Towering black smoke rose against the Crimean sky, marking not just another strike, but a turning point. Ukrainian sources reported with precision a border security post belonging to Russia's FSB and a nearby naval base for patrol boats had been hit directly. The destruction was undeniable. Satellite imagery confirmed it. Locals shared images of scorched facilities, crumpled radar arrays, and burning equipment. Social media soon filled with footage that spread like wildfire, 3 Flamingo missiles streaking across the horizon in succession, carving their route from the Black Sea coast with surgical accuracy. This was not chaos. This was orchestration. A carefully pre-planned strike executed along a predetermined trajectory. Russia had been warned. Nowhere in Crimea was safe. Later that day, Ukraine doubled down. 2 Russian attack helicopters stationed near Simferopol were obliterated on the ground. Hours later, another critical blow landed. Ukraine's military intelligence announced that the radar and support components of Russia's S-400 air defense system had been disabled. Among the destroyed assets was the 96 L6E radar, a vital early warning system. Alongside it, coastal surveillance radars and a GLONASS-based communications hub were also reduced to rubble. These were not random targets. They were the very nerve centers that gave Russia its eyes, its coordination, its ability to detect, track, and respond. With a single wave of attacks, Ukraine struck at the skeleton of Russia's Crimean defense network. To understand the scale of this, one must consider the role of the 22nd Army Corps, Russia's main coordinating body in Crimea. Its mission has been both coastal defense and integrated air defense. Its radar systems are the beating heart of the S-300 and S-400 missile batteries. Without them, the launchers are blind. Ukraine knew this, and it struck with precision. When radars fall silent, batteries become little more than inert hardware. Decision-making collapses. The ability to judge which direction the threat is coming from is lost. For soldiers, it's like being sent into combat with a blindfold on. Satellite imagery showed scorched earth and burned-out emplacements across the peninsula. Infrared signatures revealed heat plumes where once active systems had stood. What these images proved was chilling. Crimea's defenses were not only vulnerable, they were already failing. Of course, the Kremlin had not left the Kerch Bridge, its most prized asset, undefended. Layers of systems had been deployed. S-300S, S-400S, Mobile Panzer S-1S, and even test deployments of the advanced S-500. Yet the problem is not deployment. The problem is attrition. These systems, no matter how modern, are being battered relentlessly. Each strike chips away at both their material strength and the psychological confidence of the troops manning them. The Kremlin claims control on state television, but the reality on the ground tells another story. And now, with Flamingo entering the battlefield, that illusion of control is breaking apart. The Flamingo's warhead, weighing in at over 1,150 kilograms, is not designed just to damage. It is designed to collapse. And what better target than a bridge like Kerch? Bridges are paradoxical. They look invincible, massive structures of steel and stone. But engineers know the truth. Every bridge carries hidden vulnerabilities. Expansion joints, girders, deck panels, foundations that transfer thousands of tons of force into the seabed below. To the untrained eye, they are invisible. To a military engineer, they are perfect targets. To disable a bridge like Kerch, you need two things. First, a warhead with sufficient mass and configuration to deliver catastrophic stress. Second, you must strike the precise weak points, the girders, the footings, or the expansion joints. Hit them once, and the bridge weakens. Hit them repeatedly from different angles, and collapse is not just possible, it becomes inevitable. This is why the Flamingo is a nightmare for Moscow. It does not just damage, it undermines structural integrity. It burrows into the very skeleton of the target and leaves behind cracks that lengthen with every follow-up strike. This was proven in history. On October 8, 2022, an explosion tore through the roadway of the Kerch Bridge, damaging its span. On July 17, 2023, unmanned sea drones slammed into the bridge. On June 3, 2025, reports surfaced of explosives being planted at underwater points. Each attack different, but each adding to the erosion of the bridge's logistical and symbolic power. Russia repaired, Russia reinforced, but Russia could not reverse the cost of constant disruption. Trains slowed, convoys were delayed, repairs drained resources, and all the while Ukraine refined its doctrine. The brilliance of Ukraine's campaign lies not in destroying the bridge outright in one dramatic strike, but in turning its maintenance into a perpetual nightmare. Micro-damage builds, inspection cycles lengthen, temporary closures multiply. Each closure creates bottlenecks in supply. Each bottleneck forces Moscow to shift resources, to expose new vulnerabilities, to stretch thinner and thinner across a widening battlefield. And this is where Flamingo thrives. It creates not tactical but strategic paralysis. Russia cannot protect everything at once. Defend Kerch, and you leave the ports vulnerable. Defend the ports, and you expose the airfields. Deploy radars inland, and you leave the coastline blind. Every choice opens a new weakness. This is not chess. This is three-card Monte, and Ukraine is the dealer. What happens if the Kerch Bridge is finally rendered unusable? The consequences would ripple across every layer of Russia's war effort. Divisions waiting for rotation would remain stuck on the front. Exhausted troops would continue fighting without relief. Morale would crater. Logistics centers would run dry. Ammunition and fuel would fall below critical thresholds. And beyond the battlefield, the Russian public would feel the strain. Gasoline shortages, empty shelves, convoys stalled in endless lines, images leaking to social media. The Kremlin can say alternative supply lines are working all it wants, but ordinary Russians will see the truth with their own eyes. Strategic communication cracks. Instead of projecting confidence, Moscow's rhetoric becomes defensive. Words like temporary disruption and resistance to asymmetric attacks replace the once defiant slogans of control. With rhetoric weakened, political pressure intensifies. This is Flamingo's genius. Even when a single missile hits, its power is not just in the explosion. Its power is in the doubt it spreads, the pressure it builds, the endless cycle of resources consumed. Can Russia stop this? In theory, yes. Deploy more radars, increase jamming, build deception structures, hunt the mobile launchers with reconnaissance drones and satellites. But in practice, no, not all at once. Every radar consumes vast electricity and manpower. Every Pantsir battery reassigned leaves a gap elsewhere. Every dispersal of command centers reduces efficiency. Hunting launchers consumes precious aircraft and orbital resources. The math is brutal. To defend everything is to defend nothing. That is Flamingo's greatest victory, forcing Moscow into a permanent state of reactive exhaustion. At its core, this campaign is about more than a bridge. The Kerch Bridge embodies Russia's claim to sovereignty in Crimea. Destroy it, and you don't just collapse a structure, you collapse a narrative. Every truck that fails to cross, every delayed battalion, every fuel shortage whispers the same truth. Crimea is no longer secure. If that artery is cut, the Kremlin's claim to dominance in the Black Sea shatters. The myth of permanence crumbles. What remains is an occupying force exposed, stretched, and vulnerable. And for Ukraine, this fight is not just on the battlefield. It is in the laboratories where engineers design new drones, in the workshops where missile systems are refined, in the forests where mobile launchers silently wait for their moment. Determination, courage, technology. These three pillars are reshaping the battlefield, shaking the iron order Putin once believed unshakable. Stay with us here at MGE, because we will continue bringing you the hidden truths, the real strategies, and the battles shaping tomorrow.